I stepped in front of the full-length mirror in my mom's room. What I saw amazed me. Looking back was the reflection of a girl. Physically, what were negatives for me as a boy became positives when I was dressed as a girl. I was a pudgy boy, with narrow shoulders and arms that were smooth and without muscle tone. I was wearing a bra that pushed the extra flesh on my chest up into position, giving me a hint of cleavage. "Oh my God," I said out loud, astounded at how round and full I looked. The girl in the mirror had noticeable hips, soft thighs and slim calves and ankles. My boy part between my legs was tiny and well hidden in the panties I was wearing. I wore a coral pink skater dress. It had a scooped neckline and short, puffed up sleeves. Its skirts showed off my thighs and legs. I loved the frills of the dress. It was so delicate and feminine. I giggled out loud when I saw myself. I felt so pretty. I hugged myself in front of the mirror, soaking in this version of me. Why couldn't I be a girl? This is how I was meant to dress, in clothes that showed off my body instead of hiding it. Why wasn't I like other boys, with hard bodies and rippling muscles? Why were my shoulders so slight, my arms so slender, my tummy so round, and my hips so wide? I was at an age where I was no longer a child, but only just an adult. Of legal age to drive, drink, and vote, but I found myself feeling unanchored. What was I? Expecting my mom home soon, I was only able to dress for 30 minutes before I had to return to my pathetic male form. At school, I had been teased for being a sissy. If only they knew how right they were. I didn't really have any friends and kept myself busy with my studies. At the beginning of our final term before graduation, a new boy was assigned to my class. He ended up sat next to me. "I'm Frankie," said the new boy. Like mine, his voice hadn't changed. It was still high and light. I replied, "Hi, I'm Kim." He smiled. "Kim? Kim, like the girl's name?" "Yes," I said hesitantly. "Like the girl's name." Also, like me, he wasn't so much as overweight. He was just soft, totally lacking muscle. "How come you're joining so late into the year?" I asked Frankie as we headed to the lockers. "My mom just got a new job in this town," he explained. I immediately noticed how Frankie walked, taking short steps, maintaining his posture, permitting his hips to sway. He walks just like a girl, I thought. I next saw Frankie at lunch. He spotted me on my own and came to join me. I was happy to see him and felt proud that I might be making a friend after all this time. "Hi, Kim," he said. He sat close to me. I felt him against me. "Glad to see you," I said, making room for him. Frankie had a round, sweet face, with full lips which were so naturally red you'd swear he was wearing lipstick. He wasn't like any boy I'd ever known. Frankie seemed gentle and sweet like me. Like a girl. We talked a bit about school, where he moved from, where he lived now. It turned out he only lived 3 blocks from me, and he asked if we could walk home from school together. We agreed to meet at the front entrance later on. He left me with a stroke of my arm and a wink. My heart raced. Walking home together, I noticed Frankie cradling his books under his arm, like I'd seen girls do. As before, he walked with shorter steps, his hips swaying back and forth. It was a Friday afternoon, so I wouldn't see Frankie until Monday. I gave his hand a light touch and began to turn towards my house, saying, "See you Monday." He held onto my hand and asked, "What are you doing tomorrow?" "Nothing much," I replied. "Come over to my house. We can have some fun." "My mom's gone all day," he offered. I eagerly accepted and waved him off. Arriving home, my mom was pleased that I had finally found someone to spend time with. The next day, I headed to Frankie's house, full of anticipation. I knocked and rang his doorbell. He was slow to answer, and when he finally did, he appeared, wearing a pink silk robe, fluffy mules, and his hair was brushed out. Frankie cautiously peered around the door. "Hi, Kim. I had to be sure it was you," he said. As he hurried me into his house, he spoke in his high, feminine voice. "I had hoped to be all dressed by the time you arrived," he said. His robe was loosely tied, and through the opening at the front, I could see Frankie was wearing a bra and panties. He led me into the house and through a girl's bedroom. There were stuffed animals everywhere. The curtains were pink and frilly, as was the bedspread. There was a cute vanity covered with cosmetics and a mirror surrounded by lights. "Is this your bedroom?" I asked. "I wish." "No, it's my sister, Gabby's. She's at college," he replied. "What are we doing in here?" I asked. "What do you think?" Frankie teased. There were 2 sets of clothing laid neatly on the bed. Each set had a skirt, a blouse, underwear, and accessories. "Are we both going to be girls today?" I asked. "Don't you want to?" Frankie replied. "We're the same, aren't we?" he continued. It was more of a statement than a question from Frankie. He held out his hands to me. He had small hands, smooth and pretty. "Have you ever wished you were born a girl, Kim?" "I have," Frankie said softly. "I've never let anyone know about all this, but I had a feeling you were like me," he said. Holding hands, I felt so comfortable with him. "Am I wrong?" he pressed, becoming worried that he'd gotten his wires crossed. I suddenly blurted out, "I'll wait for my mom to go out so I can dress up as a girl. I dance around my room in panties and a bra. I love standing in front of a mirror, tucking myself away, pouting and posing. Then I whisper to myself over and over, 'I'm a girl, I'm a girl, I'm a girl.'" Oh my god, what a rush. Frankie squeezed my hands, comforting me. "Come on, let's see how you look in these clothes." "Will these fit?" I asked. "I think so. They're Gabby's old clothes from high school," Frankie said. "Look how well her bra and panties fit me," he said coquettishly, dropping the silk robe from his shoulders, letting it fall to the ground. He turned on the spot, modeling his silky white underwear. I stood and stared, feeling myself beginning to grow between my thighs. "You like?" Frankie asked. "You look so much like a girl," I gushed. "And so will you," said Frankie excitedly. Frankie pointed to the set that included a plaid skirt, a lacy red bra, red panties, a red blouse, some pearls, and clip-on earrings. There were also a pair of girls' black shoes, and some short white socks. "I think you'll look super cute in the red with your darker coloring," he said. "Now strip." I was so eager to start dressing that I was quickly standing there totally naked. I leaned forward slightly, putting my hands in front of me to protect my modesty below. Little did I know, but I was accentuating the flesh on my chest, creating a cleavage like when I had worn a bra at home. Frankie's eyes widened as he looked at me. "Kim, you are a girl! Look at your breasts!" I blushed at being referred to as a girl. "Let's see how pretty we can really be," Frankie said. I first put on the red panties. They were satin and had an embroidered border, with a cute little bow in the middle. The silky material slipped over my skin like a feather. "Let me help you with the bra," Frankie said. Before Frankie hooked the bra at the back, he cupped his hands under my breasts, making my body tingle. I loved the feeling of him wrapping the bra around me. It fitted so much better than my mom's. "You're gorgeous," Frankie whispered to me. We continued dressing, helping each other until we were transformed. Both of us wore skirts that reached our mid-thighs, showing off our legs. It was such a thrill to look down and see my feet in the black pumps and short white stockings. Frankie wore the white blouse and the pearls, whilst I wore the red blouse and clip-on earrings. He expertly brushed my hair and fixed it with pretty hair clips. I used to brush my sister's hair a lot and fix it up, he said. I watched him in the mirror, skillfully moving his hands. You'd make a great hairdresser, I said. I took a turn at trying to style his hair under Frankie's direction. I tried my best, and although it wasn't perfect, it was lots of fun. We applied our makeup and we sprayed a mist of floral perfume in the air, which we gracefully swept through. Soon we were all made up and stood admiring each other. We made such pretty girls. Frankie's soft features and full lips made him look so cute. The makeup really changed my appearance. The darker shade of lip color and filled-in brows made me look very grown up. We're beautiful, I said, marveling at how he looked. We could lose a little weight, Frankie nudged me, laughing. Some guys like girls with a little extra, I shot back. Oh, so we're going after guys now? Frankie giggled. I struck a model pose, trying to look sultry in the mirror. I loved how the short skirt held my behind in tightly. So sexy, Frankie cooed. Before I could reply, I was in his arms. Our bodies touched. Our legs began to intertwine. Our thighs pressing against each other, our tiny boy parts hidden beneath our skirts. We kissed. You're so soft, I whispered to Frankie. I loved him so much. I felt him grow against me. I was so hard. We rocked back and forth in each other's embrace. I felt moisture coming from him, and I couldn't hold back. We both exploded below, our panties and skirts soaked. I've never felt like this before, I said breathlessly. Me neither, Frankie gasped. Frankie had introduced me to a whole new world of girlhood. Standing before the mirror in his sister's clothes, it seemed that in every respect, save one biological hitch, I was female. It was a revelation to me, showing me what my life could really be. But instead of being frightened, I felt empowered. Frankie could see I was emotional and hugged me, drawing me again into his softness and kissing me. It was magical. His hands caressed my round bottom, and we became excited again. Suddenly, we heard the roar of an engine entering the driveway outside. Frankie pushed me away. My mom, he said, startled. He ran to the front room, looking out the window. There's no time to change. What are we going to do? We stared at each other wide-eyed. We heard the front door open and Frankie's mom call out his name. Frankie, I'm home. As Frankie panicked, I felt strangely calm. Frankie, maybe it's time to be honest about who and what we are. I'm not sure I'm ready, Frankie winced. Frankie turned his body into mine. I held him tight, his head nuzzling into my neck as footsteps approached. Gabby, are you home? Did you spill a bottle of perfume? It smells so strong, Frankie's mom shouted as she got closer. I braced myself for what was about to come, facing the door as it slowly opened and Frankie's mom stepped through. Gabby? Where's Frankie? Who are you? Frankie, is that you?